Well, good evening. No frills tonight. We're just, I have so much to share, and I thank you for your patience. I realize we're getting a very late start, and I can see that you've been patient. I have so much to share with you. However, most of it is good. But let me just say this. I don't know where to start, people. I've been running on adrenaline pretty much since Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'm still trying to kind of, pipe it down a little bit. We got there. The truck worked perfectly. If I would have gotten any other truck, it wouldn't have been big enough. It was so packed. One of the things, this was the perfect, what I call a scrimmage. Okay, it was real, but the stakes were low, and it served very well. There's so much I learned, so much that went right, and everything that went wrong we can work on and improve on and fix. So that I'm glad to bring. We got there, got up an early start. The event was to start at 10 a.m. The weather was perfect. Perfect. You couldn't ask, except my sunscreen kind of wore off. I'm still kind of touchy up there. Okay, so we only had to carry our gear, I don't know, 100 paces. We parked anyway. It takes about 3 hours to set this up. That's with 2 people working on it. Now, all this is new. I realize the first time will take longer, but that's way too long. And by the way, we didn't set everything up. I got there. When we got the speaker set up, I noticed that one of the speakers wasn't working. And I kind of wiggled the cord that goes into it, and it came alive. So I thought, no big deal. Unfortunately, now I've got them back in my studio. I only have one speaker that works, and wiggling the connector is not going to work. So we may have a dead speaker, and that would be a huge setback financially. I got a great deal on these speakers used at a pawn shop, but if one of them's broke, that's not good. But I assure you, we will get that fixed. Okay, camera-wise, we got these new cameras, and actually they performed quite well. Went very well. We got everything set up, and I've got the videos. I was trying to look through it. I was hoping to play one for you, but there just isn't time. It's going to take time. We've got a lot of editing to do. Several speakers, and I think it looked real good. Teardown and setup is grueling. We've got to improve. Just got to improve. I cannot go through. It took me about 3 hours to tear down the studio and load the truck. It took 3 more hours to unload the truck and set it up. It only took about an hour to tear it down and load it in the truck, and it took about 2 more hours to set the studio back up, and it's in shambles, as you can kind of see. If I could bring you anything better, I would have, but another challenge that we are facing is that the computer that we're now using, when I bought this, I did everything I could to get as much horsepower as we can. It's got 24 gigs of RAM. It's a Xeon 6-core processor running Windows 7, so it's not using Windows 10. That's sapping a lot of strength out of it. So that's where that's at, and this program is doing all it can. I have to offload everything but this program once we start streaming live, and I think I'll take a look. Now, right now it says the CPU is at 25%, but this is the simplest of shots. This is just a camera and a mic. That's it, as you can tell. The video mixer worked great. I don't know what we're going to do. I need some time to kind of digest all of this, and but the program becomes sluggish and eventually becomes unresponsive. when you do it. When you actually start streaming or recording, it's the same thing. I tried before I left, before I took everything down, I kind of set up a staged, set up this thing over here in the studio with the table. The table worked great, a little 4-foot table made out of it's resin, and the C-clamps connect to it real well. The table's firm. I think we're good on that. I had a real funny thing happen. The camera on the rails with the motor that goes back and forth, that's such a big deal. When I got there, I set it on we got two broadcast studio tripods. So it's a 48-inch bar. You can't put a 48-inch thing on a single tripod. It's just too much leverage from one end to the other. And it's all, the fulcrum of that lever is a little 1/4-inch aluminum screw. That is a recipe for failure. So I set it up on 2 tripods, but then I thought, well, let me try it with one to see what happens. So I did. And no, we're not going with one. But these cameras, the way these tripods work, there's a little removable piece on the tripod that you screw to the camera, and then you snap the whole thing in and it locks in. Well, each tripod has one of these little snap-in accessories things, and when I got there, one of them was missing. And I thought, how could I have lost it? Did I leave it back at the studio? Okay. I never did find it, but I bet I will find it, because I bet it's still on the darn rail, the slider thing. So we've got to do better getting organized. Part of the problem is it's the first time I was very, I don't want to use the word nervous, but certainly anxious. That we're going to leave some little thing behind. I mean, some little piece like this will just, if you don't have it, the whole thing just collapses. You can't use it. So we've got to find a way to get better organized and hopefully carry less stuff, because that truck was just, you couldn't cram a pack of cigarettes in it. The video mixer worked well. All of the microphones worked well. All of the equipment worked well, barring the crazy thing about this speaker. The thing is now, even if it started working, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Okay. So what are we going to do, folks? I mean, these things are pretty darn expensive, and where in the world would you get a speaker repaired? I don't know. I don't know. It could just be a bad connection. So all the speakers did a great job. Several members of the Senate stopped by. Some of them actually spoke. My daughter was a great help. This is definitely a 2-person operation. So I'm going to be taking help. I guess I could pull it off by myself, but boy, it's just a mess. The crowd was disappointment, let's say. It's not that there weren't any people there, but it just, I don't know if it was because it was spring break. I don't know if it was a promotion or lack thereof, or the fact that it was Wednesday. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. I've got my hands full. But I'll tell you this, a person from the press, the local CBS affiliate, stopped by, and he actually shot some footage, and he was very, very impressed with what we were doing. He covers all kinds of things, he says, but he's never arrived when and saw something like that. So folks, the bottom line is, even though there were so many things we need to improve on, there's no doubt about it, when people see this, they know that there is a new sheriff in town, and that's important, because we want to be taken seriously. We really do. So I think we're on the right track. If I gave the whole thing a grade, I would, the equipment I would give an A-, because we had that one little speaker thing. But the organization and management, then that's on my shoulders. I would give a D. D-, as a matter of fact. We've got to improve. I cannot invest 10 or 12 man hours just moving and setting up equipment to do an event. This event lasted 4 hours. Many of them will only last an hour or so. So when you look at the travel time of 10 hours on the road, 12 man hours of, you got 22 hours. That's just an exorbitant thing. Now, I haven't talked to the individual, but an individual who I believe is running for office, has run for office in the past, was one of the speakers. Diana came to me and said that he wanted to talk to me. Now, he was kind of busy, and he could see that I was very busy. But I'm looking, and I said, well, what does he want? He says, well, he's interested in what you're doing. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'm interested in whatever he's interested in, and I'll follow up on that and find out more. Let's see, tomorrow night is Friday night, is Roger. I'm going to stay up a little bit tonight. I can't stay up late. I've got a full day tomorrow. We've got a lot of footage to produce. I won't be able to produce any of that until next week, I'm afraid. We're just running out of time. I've got to focus on getting this computer. I tried to bring up the studio and it kept going unresponsive. Now, I don't know why. But it seems to be working here, no problem. But this is a very, very simple setup. Extremely simple. There's also some issues, technical issues about the audio and the video being out of sync. Now, the good news is this software is so good you can literally delay in increments of 1/1000th of a second. You can delay any element of the whole shot, the assembly of things that you do. So, no matter what, we can fix it, but the amount of tweaking that it takes is excruciating. The nice thing is there is a way to save the setup. I haven't figured that out yet, but there is a way to save it, and hopefully once we get it all tweaked. But for the moment, I'm very concerned about our studio speakers. I'm very concerned about the unresponsiveness of the program for tomorrow night. So I'm going to sign off now. Thank you all for your patience and support. We are on the right track, and we are just moving forward leaps and bounds. All of these things that I'm talking about, they are challenges, they are hurdles to be overcome. None of them are a deal killer. They can all be addressed, and I'm grateful that we had an opportunity to do this little scrimmage, to kind of give it a test drive and spin everything up. And we'll find out when we get to editing the video and all that, just what do we have. I've got to find, I know I'm rambling, but I don't have any notes, and I'm really running on, caffeine and adrenaline. Just carrying things. I got to have something on wheels. But a lot of the stuff is fragile. So if you're running something across the ground, it's bump, 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 bump. So on the one hand, I want it on wheels, because you can move it easily, but I need something that we can use as a seat. Oh, here's a little thing. The sun was directly behind me. So I am having trouble, literally cannot find the mouse on the screen because of the glare from the sun. I mean, little things like that. But we need something to sit on, although we could stand. But we also are going to need something to stand on, like a ladder, because when I elevate these tripods for the camera on rails, once I get everything found, it's taller than I am. So I need something to get up there and raise that thing up. Another little problem we have is people walking in front of cameras. Yeah, people do that. They're not thinking. And there wasn't that many people there, but imagine if there were a lot of people there. So what are we going to do? Station somebody at every camera? We got like 3 to 4 cameras. Well, 2 of them definitely exposed to people. What are we going to do? Station a person at each camera to kind of keep the path clear? Really? Or can we get some little poles and some caution tape maybe and make a little conical triangular thingy around it and leave it unattended? Another challenge we have is taping the wire to where people won't trip on it. there's a lot of wire. I can't begin to tell you how much wire and cabling goes into this. There are just bundle after bundle of wires. Most of what I'm carrying is wire. So we've got a lot to work on, but again, I'm very encouraged that everything that we're, quote, working on can be solved. None of it's a deal killer, nothing. The engineering is fine, the equipment is fine. We'll get there. So we'll have some videos to watch as soon as I can produce them, and I look forward to doing that, and we'll be sharing those. But that'll be next week, folks. So for now, I'll turn it back over to Sunbelt Girl or whoever is our video host for the evening. And we're going to sign it off now on PJNet Live right here.